Hey friend, Mishka here. Whew. Listen, this is the very first episode of Software Over Coffee, and today I'm going to share with you my story and my personal take after 26 years of working in software of what, in my opinion, qualifies someone to pursue software engineering. What are those qualities? Okay. Thank you for tuning in. Honestly, very excited to be back. I'm very excited to have you. It's going to be an exciting 2025. But let's set the stage. Like, imagine your loved one is about to go in for surgery, only to find out that that surgeon got into this profession for some financial incentives, and not because he or she wanted to save lives. Would you want that person to operate? Or how about something, I don't know, less dramatic? We'll have we all have things that we love. Maybe you're like me, you're a little bit competitive. Well, be it a board game or a football team, I'm sure you've had the experience when your teammate or even a competition, like they mail it in. It's not fun, right? I mean, it's downright frustrating. And if you love something, you want other people around you to love that thing too. And I mean, that's why I'm passionate about this subject. I want to work with folks who share that same love. But before we get into that juice, I want to establish a little bit of credibility. And this whole journey in 2025 is about me sharing, getting to know you, and you getting to know me. So, who am I? Well, first of all, I'm a part-time fractional CTO. I'm a full-time solutions architect at Amazon, and I've spent many years doing AAA games. I've worked at a multitude of Fortune 100 companies across a myriad of different domains, ranging from like commercial consumer products to government contract work. I worked with dysfunctional teams and very, very high performing teams, and I've ran teams that all sat together to the asynchronous ones distributed across the globe. Yeah, we'll cover a lot of ground on this channel, and at the end of this video, I really want to share with you my own personal journey and then if you have questions or just curious about something, drop a comment. I want to engage with you. So, okay, enough of that. We're on the precipice of agentic AI. It's a fairly saturated market. You might be wondering, is this something that I can be good at? Software engineering, I mean. Well, to be honest, I don't know what you're wondering, but the question should be, the question I'd love for you to ask yourself is this fun? Is this interesting? Okay, cool. But beyond that, what are the qualities that you might want to hone or identify within yourself that, in my opinion, would make for great software engineers in the long run, right? That surgeon that you want to operate, that teammate that you want to work with. So there are a dozen small qualities that make great engineers. I'm going to boil it down to three big levers, in my opinion, that if you possess them and can develop those qualities, I mean, baby, I'm excited to engage with you. So, one, you are a curious person. Two, you are someone that loves solving puzzles. And three, you have a magic eye for visualizing complexity. Okay. I just wanted to rapid fire them, but we'll get in. And you're like, oh, but Mishka, of course, I'm a curious person. I clicked on your silly video, didn't I? Yeah, you did. Thanks, by the way. Let's dig in though. Do you remember the last time that you took something apart? When was the last time that you pushed a button not knowing what that button's going to do? Well, I don't know. When was the last time you said, oh shit, I don't know what this is or how this works, and proceeded to learn it instead of being like, oh, that's too hard, that's not my job, let me ask about it. Anyways, I like examples, and I think it makes stuff a lot more tangible. So I'll leverage my own experience here. This topic, this quality, curiosity. When I was in middle school, I was doing QBasic, and I wanted to build a fighting game. And if you're not familiar with what QBasic is, I mean, it's a really, really simple programming language, and it primarily just outputs to the terminal, to the command line. And because I wanted to build a game, I needed some graphics, some pictures. I needed bitmaps. So it's like, how am I going to do that? Because these things just print out text. And where do I even start? How does a bitmap work? I was like, well, let's find out. And a bitmap is a binary file. It basically means it's a collection of bytes, and those aren't going to map to. They're a collection of bytes that aren't going to map to like text, right? Typographical characters. There are a ton of binary file formats out there, but like the bitmap is pretty simple, and it's a rectangle. You need to know how many pixels wide is it, and then how many pixels tall is it, potentially. So the first few bytes are just that. It's a number that's going to indicate the width and the height. But next we have a color table or a color palette. Why do we want that? Well, it's more efficient that way. And if you're curious, good. The rest of the bytes are just a stream of those indices into that color palette. So, 1 is red or white or black, whatever the color palette is. And then you start drawing them, right? So you draw them from the upper left-hand corner, and then you wrap around when you go around the width. You get, 2 for loops. Yeah, I mean, it's truly not that hard, but I thought this was really neat, and I was really excited about it when I figured this out for the first time. And figuring out how things work and being curious is truly at the core of making software. I mean, that permeates everything. So I hope you get it. And, self-awareness is really, really key. And that's 1. All right, well, what about 2? What about solving puzzles? When you get stuck, do you doubt your ability to solve a problem or a puzzle even, is there even an answer, or are you excited or at least comfortable mulling it over for a while? I recently did Advent of Code, and if you haven't, do check it out. There were a number of challenges that had me stumped. Give those a go yourself. The high I get from getting an answer justifies all of the, oh, what the fuck, why, right? Like that precedes it. And if you actually practice and go slow and you walk away from these puzzles not having only found the answer, you become so much more confident. And I don't know, I think that's pretty cool and a quality I look for in others. And then the last one, what's up with that last qualification? Being able to visualize complexity. I can phrase this differently, but in the end, it's really the same thing. It's the ability to be creative in this field. Poking at a problem from different angles, and more importantly, knowing where to poke. It is something that comes with experience. But when I get into flow, I'm able to visualize that system. I can imagine all the interactions. And then from there, intuition takes over. Well, what if? And I can begin to formulate my next steps. And a while ago, I did a video about how to deconstruct complexity. I'm going to remake that video. I'm planning on archiving all the old stuff. So let me know if you're interested. I'll make it again. But, okay, this probably still sounds a little esoteric. And just like problem solving, you get better with time. But you should be able to, for some small problems, visualize. And I highly encourage you to, try pen and paper. Something about that kinetic movement usually stimulates the creative. Well, again, this is a skill that can be trained. Close your eyes and see if you can visualize, I don't know, how the sink works, how your body works when you walk. What happens when a character in a video game is trying to pathfind to the exit? How could you improve the bitmap format? That kind of creativity of exploring, and visualization. And those are the 3 qualities. Any software engineer that embodies them, curiosity, love of puzzles, the ability to visualize, has incredible potential, and someone I would love to have on my team. And yes, there's a ton of other qualities, and they depend on the path that you take. Eventually, you could develop more soft skills, but soft skills come with self awareness and life experiences. So I'm not going to emphasize those things today, but I think making software is really cool. You get to build stuff purely out of your imagination. You don't need materials. You don't need to go to Home Depot and buy wood. You don't need to go to the art store and buy paint. You don't need to ask for permission. And I want to close out by sharing my own story. Up until the age of 9, 10, I've never seen a computer, yet alone set in front of one. I was born in Ukraine, and technology back then, just wasn't a thing. My mom found an old thrown away Windows 3.1. I treated it like a game. I clicked every button. I opened every folder. There's no instruction manual. Around the same time, I discovered real cartoons, like a far cry from Soviet claymation. I saw Dragon Ball Z and blew me away. I got online thanks to AOL. I found some fan sites, and I used that same curiosity to discover that if you right click and see the source code, oh shit, I can copy and paste. I can make some modifications too. I began making my own websites. I quickly went from it being about Dragon Ball Z to being able to make cooler sites than other fans were making. Like, it became competitive for me. I made drop-down menus. I made animation. I learned Flash. I got into Perl and CGI. And then by the time I got to middle school, I wrote my first game in QBasic. And with a little bit of AI, like the characters would like kick each other based off distance. It's simple. I made a font reader, animations, like a little flip book, etc. Right? Like, I embrace the hacker culture of 2600, if you know what that is, Hack 5 as well, is like deep engineering through like the countless hours I spent at Barnes & Noble's just reading technical books. Like, that's what I used to do. It was honestly between skipping school or like bringing that book into class just to like read that. High school, I got a job at a telecom and I did enterprise Java. Because I was off the boat, I kind of felt pressured that I had to go to university. I'm sure like that pressure was entirely an internal story, but I'm sure many can relate. And then I graduated from Full Sail University, where I built a game engine from scratch and got really, really good at C++. I started to also really understand just how stuff works. And my appetite for knowledge was pretty insatiable, and it kind of shaped me. Like, I won't deny that I was really, really fortunate to have discovered my passion, pursued it. I also learned that as much as I love problem solving and learning, I really love teaching as well and working with others. So, yeah, in those ways, I'm blessed. But I don't believe that it is some innate. I do think that this is something that everybody can do. And if it is fun for you, if it is interesting, if you are curious and you like problem solving, and like, it's really cool. You can make stuff out of nothing. And so my intention for this channel is to share some of my passion and inspire you to open that door to what I, again, think is one of the most interesting and fulfilling skills in life. If this is something that you do enjoy, like, don't overthink things. Lean into that fear. I hope you discover, as I did, that the harder something is, the more rewarding the win. Thanks for watching to the end. I'd love it if you subscribed and left me a comment, but honestly, just watching this is enough of a thanks. Much love, friend. See you next time, and a happy new year. Peace.